Hello friends, it's Johnny here and welcome once again to my channel. As I'm still celebrating my second short film, I decided to give a breakdown of what I really understand by love, and for the rest of the month I'm going to really break down my understanding of love to you through my videos that I make with you. So in this week's video, I'm going to share with you a part of what I understand by what love is. So stay tuned.
People ask me about it all the time. So what do you mean when you tell us to love these people who are beating on us and bombing our houses and kicking our children around? What in the world do you mean when you say love such people?
Alright, so the topic of love has really been on my radar for a very long time, and it has been actually going on in my head. I've been discussing it, having a lot of discussions and reviews with myself, and I thought, why don't I bring it out? I wanted to write something about it at a point, and then I got to a point where I wanted to make it like a series where I'm going to explain some points about my understanding of what love really is and what it can really do to change a lot in the world. And another idea came recently. I was like, okay, so it's Valentine's Day, Valentine is approaching, and I want to make a film for Valentine. So that was when I was making my monthly plan to see what I was going to do with my videos, and I decided to make a short film which was going to actually talk about my understanding of what love really is. That's why I decided to make this short film called Evolve. Evolve is simply love that is turned the opposite way. That's why I wrote the other side of love, the side of love that most of us don't really talk about, or most people don't really talk about. So I decided to share this story for people to understand what love really is, because I had this very deep meaning of what love is. I did a little bit of research. I went to Wikipedia to check out what I could find on love, and I realized there was a whole lot over there, but I couldn't go through everything. There were just some points where they actually delved into, and it focused on something like cultural, religious, and different factors, physiological and different factors of what love really is and the understanding of love to the world. And when you go to different cultures and different philosophies, you realize that they have different meanings, or they have different understanding of what love really is. For example, with the cultural, we have the Chinese understanding of love at some point, and we have the ancient Greek, we have also religious perspective of what love really is. And I mean, there was a whole lot of discussion going on there, and I just wanted to follow a trend where love talked about selflessness, where love talked about kindness, showing compassion to another person other than ourselves, because I just knew that this was the kind of love that can actually go ahead of us to cause a lot of change in this world. And that was what I was looking for. And my inspiration actually came from Dr. Martin Luther King, when he said,
Then the Greek language has another word called agape. Agape is more than romantic love. Agape is more than friendship. Agape is not something affectionate. Agape is understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill for all men. It is an overflowing love which seeks nothing in return. Theologians would say that it is the love of God operating in the human heart. And when one rises to love on this level, he loves men not because he likes them, but he loves every man because God loves him. He goes on with that. And so he rises to the level of hating the system rather than the individual who is caught up in that system. He loves the person and hates the evil deed. And I think this is what Jesus meant when he said, love your enemies. And I'm happy that he didn't say like your enemies, because it's pretty difficult to like some people. It's difficult to like people bombing your home and threatening your children and kicking you about. But Jesus says love them, and love is greater than like. Love is understanding, creative, redemptive goodwill for all men.
When you're being faced with hate to the point where people want to kill you and you still want to show love, that's on a different level. And that was what he was trying to preach to the black community back then. He said, well, we know these guys hate you, but then we want to move from being like them. Instead of showing the same hate or portraying hate to them, let's use the other thing, which is love, to fight them. And that was what he did. Instead of violently trying to fight back, he decided that let's use love to actually create some harmonious kind of environment where in the long run people can actually think about what they are doing or what they've done and change their habits. And this is something that I believe if we are all going to focus on the long term, we are going to have a very clean world and a very better world. We may not get the best, or we may not put it at the perfect world, but at the end of the day, I believe that if you and I are going to show a little bit of kindness and love to one another, I think it can change the world. And I'm not saying it's very easy. Trust me, when someone is hating you at that instant, you want to hit them, you want to do something, you want to revenge or avenge what they've done. Okay, that's like our nature. That's natural, it's gonna come. But at the end of the day, what you have to do is to hold on. Don't listen to the first voice that comes to you. Hit them, beat them, insult them, do the same thing to them. It's hard, but you have to hold on to yourself and use that love potion that is within you to actually calm yourself down and move on. At the end of the day, you might go home angry and upset, but you've done the best thing in the world. The problem I realize about trying to show love and compassion is that sometimes as people we want to get results immediately. So when someone does something, we want to reply them immediately, then we get satisfied. Oh, I gave it to him, I gave it to her, so they deserved it, so I've given to them what they deserve, and then you are fine, right? But at the end of the day, if you're actually going to focus on the fact that, well, I know it's hard, I know I need to give it to them, I need to actually insult them, I need to beat them, I need to react for them to see that what they did was stupid. I'm not saying that when someone does something and you have to speak to them in a way, or you have to say something about it, just keep quiet and leave it and let it go. I'm saying that instead of being angry and fighting back, you can use a smarter way to make them know that what they did was stupid or wasn't the wise thing. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that what you are doing is not just for you, but for another person whom this person might have a contact with in the future. So when you show love to them, when you show love in the face of hate, they go back home, they sit down and think about what they did, and they realize that what they did was really false and bad. If they are going to think again about it, they are going to when they actually have to go back to think about what they did, they are going to feel a little sense of remorse that in the next instance, when they meet another individual in your shoes, or who was at the same position, they are not going to repeat the same action because they thought about it. I'm not saying that it's always going to be like that. There are people, no matter the length that you go, they are not going to change, or they are not going to change their behavior. That's that happens, it's normal. But then your goal is that, well, I'm doing my part. This person has some insecurity problems and is trying to put their problems on me by showing anger and hatred and all that to me. But I, on the other hand, I'm trying to be the best version of myself. I'm not actually going to give in for this person to go home and be glad that they found a victim. These guys who portray hate and all these things, they just win when you try to fight them back with the same attitude. But in the other way, if you want to win, if you want the world to win, then you just have to show them love. You just have to reply them in a sensible way that they are going to think about. That in the next time when they meet another individual, they are going to actually not be harsh, or they are not going to be rude to another individual. So this is what I really want to share with everyone on what I really understand about love. And this is the first episode. Next week I'm going to share with you again on something else about what love is and how I understand love. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I'm really excited that you showed up to my video this week. So thank you and have a great weekend.